at number 1, okay, does it look like a scalene, isosceles, or a right? Scalene. Okay, and okay, and so you can't really tell the rest on here. However, we can go too far as to say, is it then a right, obtuse, or acute? Acute? Okay, this one looks like it could be a right, except for it would have a square. Okay, so it's got to be acute. Okay, it does not matter if you say SA or AS. Okay, they're both the same. Okay, 3. Does it look like an equilateral, isosceles, or scalene?
I forgot which one's which.
Okay, that's fine. So a scalene has all 3 different lengths, and isosceles has 2 of the same, and then an equilateral has got 3 of the same. Okay, and so this one I just know from the answer key, it's an equilateral. Okay, and is it acute, obtuse, or right? Acute. Okay, and so the ones with no markings are kind of harder to tell. Okay, so number 5, is it scalene, isosceles, or equilateral? It's an isosceles. Why? Yeah, it's got 2 tick marks. Okay, so that means that this side and this side are the same. So it's going to be an isosceles. Is it an obtuse, acute, or right? It's definitely obtuse. Okay, we always look at the biggest angle, and this is the biggest angle, and so that's greater than 90 degrees. Okay, 7. Is it an isosceles, scalene, or right? No, equilateral. Huh? It is definitely a right. Okay, so the angle part is a right. Okay, but huh?
S.
It's an S. Okay, it's an S. It's a scalene because you can tell that all 3 sides are different because there's nothing marked. Okay, so it's going to be a scalene right. Okay, look at 9. I think. Oh, these ones do have markings. They should. Okay, so is it a scalene, isosceles, or equilateral? It's a scalene. Nothing's marked, which means none of them are the same. Okay, is it acute, obtuse, or right? Acute. Okay, 11. Is it scalene, isosceles, or equilateral? Yeah, so let's put okay, so if we have this triangle and all 3 sides are marked, this is going to be an equilateral. Okay, it means 3 sides the same. Okay, if 2 sides are marked, then this is going to be an isosceles. It means 2 sides the same. Okay, and if no pieces are marked, then that means no sides are the same. So that's going to be that scalene. Okay, and then we have our 3 angles. Okay, we would have, we always look at the biggest part. So this one is going to be an obtuse. And that means bigger than 90 degrees. So it's got to be bigger than this, than a right angle. Okay? We have a right triangle. That's going to have a square. That means it's exactly 90 degrees. Okay, this is a right. And then an acute. You can tell that the smallest angle is going to be less than 90 degrees. Okay, and so here's that 90 degrees mark would be straight up and down. It's less than that. Okay, so if we look at 11, is it going to be an equilateral, isosceles, or scalene? It's an isosceles. And is it obtuse, right, or acute?
Right.
It's a right. It's got that right angle. Okay, 13. Is it an equilateral, isosceles, or scalene?
Scalene.
It's a scalene. See how nothing is marked? Okay, no sides are marked, so it's got to be a scalene.
Right.
And it's going to be a right. It's got the right angle marker. Okay, 15. Is it an equilateral, isosceles, or scalene?
Yeah, so.
It's an isosceles. We got 2 tick marks. Okay, it's got 2 tick marks. That means 2 sides are the same. And is it an obtuse, right, or acute?
Cute.
It's going to be acute. Okay, so most of that was what we did yesterday. Okay, this is the new stuff. So classify each angle by its sides and angles. Okay, now same thing. Start with the sides. So we got a 4.4 length, 2.4, and 2.4. It's going to be isosceles. You can see that 2 sides are the same. Okay, I got a 2.4 and a 2.4. Those 2 sides are the same, so it's got to be an isosceles. Okay, and now we can look at the angles. Okay, and now is when you really have to be careful. Okay, and actually, rather than looking, you should know by numbers. So that before we kind of had to guess, maybe it looked like an obtuse, but we cannot actually say that. Okay, so we look at our angles. We got 23, 23, and 134. So we pick the biggest one, which is what? 134. Is the biggest one. Is that less than 90, 90, or greater than 90? It's greater than 90. Okay, and so it's going to be an obtuse. Okay, look at 19. Okay, so we got our 3 sides, 10.4, 16.2, and 12.4. Okay, are no sides the same, 2 sides the same, or 3 sides the same?
No.
None. Okay, so it's going to be a scalene. And then we look at the angles. We say 40, 50, and 90. What's the biggest one? 90, and so that's going to be a right. Okay, 21. We look at the sides first. So I got 13.8, 13.8, and 13.8. So is that no sides the same, 2 sides the same, or 3 sides the same? 3 sides are the same. All these are the same length, so it's going to be an equilateral. And then we look at the angles. I got 60, 60, and 60. So we pick the biggest one, which is 60. Is that less than 90, 90, or bigger than 90?
Less than 90?
Yeah, 60 is going to be less than 90, so it's going to be an acute. Okay, 23. My sides are 7, 7, and 7.
Equilateral?
It's got to be an equilateral.
And I'm going to guess the
We can't guess anymore because now we have actual numbers in there. Okay, and so it's 60, 60, and 60 on the inside. So the smallest one is that, or the biggest one, I'm sorry, is that an obtuse, right, or acute?
Acute?
Acute. Okay, 25. I got a side of 2.9, 8, and 8.5.
Scalene?
It's going to be a scalene. No sides are the same. Okay, then I look at my angles. I got a 20-degree angle, a 70-degree angle, and a 90-degree angle. What's the biggest one?
90?
90, and so is 90 less than 90, 90, or bigger than 90?
90, so it would be a scalene right triangle.
Yep, so it's going to be a right. Okay, now, do not get in the habit of seeing a 90 and automatically assuming that it's a right, because if there was one that's bigger than that right, it's no longer a right, it's an obtuse. Okay? And so people get in the habit of seeing that square, and they're like, oh, it's a right. That's not actually true. Okay? Because if there was one that is bigger, if there's one that's 91 degrees, then the 91 trumps the 90, therefore it's an obtuse. Okay? Look at 27. I got 3 sides, 2, 3.4, and 2.8. Scalene. And then my angles, I got 54, 90, and 36. So 90, so it's going to be a right. Okay, 29. I got 3 sides, 3.4, 9.1, and 8.5.
Scalene.
Scalene. And then my angles, I got 22, 68, and 90.
Right?
Yep, so the 90 is the biggest, and so that makes it a right. Okay, 31, I got the sides are 5, 3.6, and 3.6.
Isosceles?
It's isosceles. And then my angles are 45, 45, and 90.
Right?
Right. I got 2.5, 4.5, and 4.5.
Isosceles?
Isosceles. And then my angles are 32, 74, and 74. So we pick the biggest one,
74.
74. So is that 90, less than 90, or bigger than 90?
This time, so it would be acute.
Yep, less than, so it's going to be acute. Okay, 35, I got 7.4, 3.1, and 5.4.
Scaling.
Scaling, and then my angles, I got 22, 40, and 118.
Obtuse.
Obtuse.
Sorry that I know them.
No, you're fine. 37, I got 2.2, 2.8, 2.8.
Isosceles.
Isosceles, and my angles are 67, 46, and 67.
Acute.
It's going to be acute. Okay, we picked the biggest one, acute. $39, I got 6.5, 6.5, and 6.5.
Equilateral.
Equilateral. And then my angles are 60, 60, and 60.
Acute.
Acute.